Avengers Endgame almost featured another Thor cameo.
Yeah, they were gonna fight each other back on Asgard.
No, that's not what they were talking about. It was going to be the Dark Elves. Fuck that.
Yeah,
Thor 2 is arguably one of the worst MCU movies.
second worst. Yeah.
I said one of the worst.
No, yeah, I know, and I'm agreeing with you. I'm just
It's
actually
not
putting
Iron Man
it.
3. It's not that bad.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say Iron Man 3 was the worst.
Yeah, I fucking hate that movie.
Dude, what a fucking shit movie. I hate that movie.
Iron Man 3, Thor 2,
Thor 1?
Captain Marvel?
What? Get. Fuck.
Captain Marvel's just like in the middle, like lower middle. It's a Thor 1.
No,
Yeah.
it's a Captain America 1.
That's even worse than Thor 1.
What? You thought Captain America was worse than Thor 1?
You don't?
No.
Which one has more Phil Coulson? Thor 1. Check and mate. I've yet to hear a counterpoint. Check. I win. Fuck Steve Rogers. So anyway.
Anything, sure.
Yep. Dinklage, Peter Dinklage, Peter Dinklage. So,
alright.
Have I ever played for you? I'm sure I have, but
That Peter Dinklage one?
no, it's the theme song mashed up with Black Skinheads.
What?
It's so good.
No.
I love it.
Alright, so
Final season.
We're gonna catch this shit up because.
How do you want to do it? Do you want to just like summarize episodes and talk about it? Or
Sure. What happened episode 1? Whole bunch of fucking
they
shit.
sat around and
That's
they
right.
talked. Ooh, Danny and Sansa don't like each other. Ruh-roh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Go figure.
Bran likes to sit around and not do anything.
I'm really creeped out with how Sophia Turner,
Just Sophie.
Sophie Turner is getting like a huge push from like everybody.
What do you mean?
She's been she has this really weird like fashion model commercial. She is like,
Oh, you're not talking about in the show.
I'm talking about like in real life. Yeah.
Oh.
I'm sorry, it was a tangent. Not a good one.
My biggest problem is like,
And then
I really love it in shows when
Dark
it's like,
Phoenix is gonna be a huge hit, so she's gonna get like this fucking.
it's not gonna be a huge hit. It's gonna be a bomb. No one gives a shit. Apocalypse made like a third of what Days of Future Past made, and everybody hated that. The fan base does not care about these people. It's going to be even worse. It will not break $90 million.
Damn. Fuck it. Anyways. Yeah, so nothing happened in season 1 or episode 1.
Let's see what
What
happens.
happened?
It's more. Episode 1 was like, all right, all these things ended in the end of last season, and all these secrets were being like talked about, and people were getting information, and then the first episode was like, everybody's going to be in the same fucking room. All these secrets are going to start being aired out, and we're going to move stuff along. And it's
Bran
like,
saw
cool. Yeah, and then it ends with Bran seeing Jaime. Fine enough episode. Get to see people talking that we haven't seen in a while. It was okay. Nothing crazy special. All right. Then episode 2, the same thing happened.
Yeah.
It was just more talking, but this time with all the B characters.
Yeah.
Remember when you hear Tormund talking about sucking a giant titty?
Yeah.
Yeah. Emmy-winning writing right there. But they had a song.
Oh, yeah. Podrick, right?
Yeah.
That was a pretty good song. I was like, holy
solid.
shit.
I mean, the only real highlight is Brienne getting knighted.
That
meant
was
so
super
much.
cool, but
Brienne, Gwendolyn Christie, love her. She's
a fucking awesome character.
Yeah.
What a fucking piece of shit Jaime is.
Well, that's a few episodes from now. Right now, it's like, hey, he's a good guy. He's here. He's fighting for the living.
Alright. So
there was an
3.
argument with Sansa and Dany where it's like, hey, Dany tries to be a good ruler and meet you halfway. And then Sansa's just a dumb bitch and is like, but I don't get what I want, so fuck you. If you don't know already, I'm just going to bitch about Sansa this whole time because she's the worst character in this show. She's just the worst.
I just watched the scene again. Who actually killed Joffrey?
You don't remember?
Was it Marjorie's grandmother?
Yeah, it was Olenna because
Okay, yeah.
Sansa has like the brooch, not
Yeah.
brooch, the hair thing, or no, it's a necklace. So
Yeah,
they made
yeah.
it a necklace, and she's like, "Oh, let me fix your hair." Whoops!
Uh-huh.
Snap a pearl off, and then into
That's
his wine.
right.
That's where the poison was.
Yeah.
So she poisoned Joffrey.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Nice. Anyways.
Yeah. So
Episode 3. Holy fucking shit.
This is when things really start becoming
We
a
get
sign of
Game
what's
of
happening.
Thrones. Oh yeah, we get like full Game of Thrones in this shit. Motherfuckers like are going ham.
For better or for worse. I'm more negative on this season than you are, I think.
What? You didn't like
So
them?
you
didn't like
give-
episode 3?
You talk.
Episode 3 was just, it was a culmination of like our patience for like the big battle that we knew was going to happen with the White Walkers and the Living. Essentially, like all the battles or all the like warriors that Dany like collected. It was a really fucking cool battle. I thought it was really good. I thought it gave us like the small character development with Clegane that we needed in order for him to like finally push past and get to his final goal. With Arya like, you know, backing him and everything and pushing him on. I mean, I thought it was a really great episode. I thought it was really cool. It's definitely the best episode of this fucking series or season, I think.
So what you said a couple of times is what I think is the real problem with this season. You said a couple times it was real cool. I think that the writers of the show D&D are more interested in having it be cool than being interesting. Because it's like, alright, here's the big battle. We all, like, Jon Snow's given the speech a bunch of times about how relentless this army that's coming is. It will not stop no matter what. They will not tire. They will not yield. They are going to keep coming. And then, what the fuck was their battle plan? Their battle plan was just, alright, we're going to line up all the Dothraki and crash them into this onslaught of people in pitch black that we cannot see. But, oh no, they didn't know Melisandre was coming. And they knew, like, their Araks are just steel. They're not Dragonglass, they're not Valyrian steel. How the fuck is that going to kill a White Walker? They were just going to charge in and do fuck knows what. But then, hey, Melisandre shows up, gives them fire, which is important with killing White Walkers, but they didn't know that was going to fucking happen. So, we got a cool visual, which it was fucking super cool, and to see them run in and, like, the lights slowly fade out as we see them get fucking massacred.
Well, that's what happened. They were killing them with fire. Remember their blades, even though they were steel, they were like fire.
But that was not their plan going in. They didn't have flaming swords. It was at the last second Melisandre showed up and gave them flaming swords. And so, but even then, they got destroyed.
Yeah.
Like Jorah and Ghost made it back. That was it. And then, what's their plan? We have this trench that's going to be the big defense, but we're going to have all of the soldiers on the wrong side of it. We're going to have these trebuchets on the wrong side of it so that they become utterly useless 4 minutes into the fight and just have people getting slaughtered for no fucking reason. And, we're fighting the army of the undead. The Night King brings the dead back to life. Let's put all the weakest people in the room with all the dead bodies. Like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
Hey, we have dragons, and there's a sea of 100,000 dead people. No, we're just gonna have the dragons fuck off and like hang out into the back. And
well, they were fighting the king.
Well, they could have blown up some baddies on the way.
They were trying to fight the king.
But they didn't know where he was. They didn't know how he was going to come in. They were just
They
fucking.
knew he was gonna come in on the dragon.
Well, I mean, I guess. And then, what the fuck did Bran do in the episode? He's the guy who knows. He's a three-eyed raven. He knows everything. And what's his contribution? I'm going to go now. And then he becomes a bunch of ravens and watches a sweet dragon fight in the sky. Like, he does not contribute at all.
I hope whatever happened with Bran has huge implications in what happens in the last episode.
Because
Because
he's
other
got to
than
come
that-
back. He's got to come back for the last episode because we haven't seen him in over an episode. And he has yet to do anything in this fucking last, 3 seasons. He goes back and, is a voyeur and watches people fuck. He doesn't do anything. He, gets information but then doesn't tell people about it until the last minute. He has Sam tell Jon. Bran's frustrating as shit.
Yeah.
And, this whole episode was... That's my problem with episode 3. Is it was cool, but it didn't make sense to me. There's just too many things that are what the fuck is this? And that's my problem with the whole season so far is the visuals are perfect. Everybody is acting their balls off. The production, the CGI, all of the design, everybody is killing it except the writers. And that just brings everything down for me. And it's hard, I keep trying to justify it, but I'm having trouble with it.
I get you. Because episode 4 was lame.
And I mean, just to wrap up episode 3, I have no problem with Arya killing the Night King. I think that's interesting. But her killing him in that way, now we have no real resolution to what the White Walkers were after. In the episode before, Bran was like, they want to erase human history. That's why they want to kill me, because I know everything. And that's it?
No, they wanted him. He wanted Bran's power.
They didn't address that at all.
Yeah, because Bran can go back and have physical implications on people. That's why Hodor is the way he is.
We know that, but
Yeah.
what is that? How do we know that's what the Night King wants?
Because the Night King wants to erase human history.
So they
not
wanted to kill Bran.
No,
That's
not
what Bran
the,
said.
not the story history, but the first man who came over. He wanted to get Bran's power to kill them off.
When was that addressed?
It doesn't need to be addressed. It's implicated because that's what he means.
How?
You're taking human history as the verbal or written history.
That's how they
as,
present it in the show.
That's not what I understood.
You think it's I want to
Wipe
assimilate his
out
power?
man. I want to assimilate the power and wipe out human history, people.
See, that would be a motive. That would be interesting for them to tell us,
That's what I
explain
understood.
to us. I did not get that at all. But it's it's weird. Also, it's weird to me. That would be interesting, but the first scene of the first episode of the first season is the White Walkers killing people. So we're shown from the beginning what our true threat is in this show. We're spending all of our time politicking and fighting between Witch House and all this stuff, but we all know that literal death is coming from the north for everybody. And then it's just alright, a sneak attacked, and now that's all gone? And then we have 3 more episodes? And it's Cersei? And Euron? What are we doing here? What's going on? I just felt unfulfilled by what should have been. This is the biggest production, most money, most time ever spent on one battle,
Yeah.
and it was cool. But I didn't feel fulfilled.
Okay.
That's where I'm at.
Okay.
Episode 4.
Nothing happened episode 4.
What happened in episode 4? I've already forgotten.
There was a couple of character
Oh,
developments.
the coffee cup.
I didn't even notice that until I saw the fucking
I saw the memes, and that's when I
memes.
realized,
Yeah.
yeah.
I didn't realize that. I didn't notice it. Whatever.
I think episode 4 is supposed to be the prelude to Mad Danny, which I have a whole other thing we could talk about later.
Well,
but-
we're gonna talk about it right now. When we get to episode 5.
Episode 4 is just supposed to be alright, Danny is like losing John. She has no friends because Jorah's dead. She loses Missandei, who just like a big who cares to me. And like, what else happens in this part? John doesn't say goodbye to his best friend Ghost.
What a piece of shit.
All he had to do was pet him. That's
Yeah.
all he had to do.
What a fucking piece of shit. But here's the thing. So yeah, what a piece of shit. But I also saw it as like symbolic of him, like just letting go of his history as a Stark and saying, "Damn, like this being symbolic ultimately to what I think is gonna happen in episode 6." And he's like realizing now, like, no, I'm not a Stark, and I am not from the North. I am not a Snow. I am not the son of Ned Stark. I am a fucking Targaryen.
That could be where he ends up for sure.
Because
he's talking about the direwolves belong in the North. Like,
yeah,
there's
and
him talking about
this
that.
is like partially of like partial symbolism of him being kind of like in this limbo because he doesn't say bye to Ghost. He completely like abandons him, but he doesn't also go on Viserion.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like riding off.
He's gonna march with the army.
Yeah, so he's like in this limbo, like this symbolic and like.
And he's kind of in limbo as a person because he's like a reincarnated. He's
exactly.
George R. R. Martin called him a fire white, so he's a fire version of like the White Walkers essentially.
Boom.
So that's another limbo analogy that you were bringing up.
So that's why I was like, yeah, he's a fucking piece of shit. But at the same time, I saw it like super like symbolic of like of where they're going with it. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, episode 5 was just kind of a fucking filler.
John fucked up like John likes to do by trying to do the right thing in his mind, which is talk to my family. Yeah. When it's like, no.
Yeah.
Just keep your fucking mouth shut, John. Yeah. And I have to tell Sansa, the worst character in this show. Mm-hmm. And then Sansa fucks it up and tells Tyrion. And then he tells Varys, which was weird. Why not just go talk to Dany? But whatever.
Well, he and Varys have that like relationship, so you can understand. I understood. Like, it made sense to me because of their relationship and how they worked throughout the series.
True.
But.
And we lost another dragon. That was the other big
Jesus Christ. That came all fucking mighty. Yeah, I was like, holy shit.
Which is another, like, weird thing where it's like, it was cool. Holy shit. I did not expect them to take out a dragon, especially that quick.
Yeah.
And then Dany is, like, all mad and gonna go after them. And then all of a sudden they get Stormtrooper syndrome and can't hit a fucking shot.
Yeah.
And then she flies off and they still can't hit a shot. And the justification by the writers is like, oh yeah, Dany forgot about them. The Iron Fleet. And it's like, literally in this episode she's talking about the Iron Fleet. What the fuck are you talking about? Yeah. This is dumb. But cool. Yeah. And then episode 5. Episode 5. Where nothing else happened.
Yeah. So, episode 5 was our big, like, key character deaths. I mean...
These are the biggest characters who have died in a while.
Yeah.
Because nobody really died in episode 3 fight. It was like, Ed...
the little girl, man. The queen.
Yeah, I was going to say, Lyanna Mormont is like the biggest person who died. And props to her for going out killing a fucking giant.
Yeah, dude, like a fucking G. Goddamn. Fucking.
I did like her in the after episode thing where it was like,
yes.
I guess like if I couldn't end up sitting on their throne, I guess I want to die in a really cool way. And it's like, you go, sister.
Yeah.
And boy, did you.
Did you hear her comments on like what she was gonna miss the most of?
What?
From being on Game of Thrones. It was being able to stand in front of like a group of men and calling them stupid or telling them like they're stupid. I was like,
she was fucking right. Every time she stood up, it was like to shame these grown ass men into being like, stop being little pussies. Yeah. I'm gonna tell you what's up, and it's like, she's fucking right.
Yeah.
You can't argue when they're this
fucking
right.
Lady Mormont.
R.I.P.
Most G character.
So I mean, like we're just losing like every fucking house now. All
Yeah.
the Mormons are gone. Now all the Lannisters are gone.
The Karstarks aren't gone, right?
I don't know.
No, they pussy
The
out of
Umbers
fire.
are gone.
Yeah, the Umbers are fucking.
Yeah, the little
God.
boy burned alive.
That terrified the fucking shit out of me. I didn't even realize his fucking eyes opened.
Yeah, I didn't catch that at all.
Dude,
I just
God
heard the
damn.
screaming. And
Yeah, I was
like,
like,
what the
what?
fuck? All the Tyrells are gone.
Yeah, Tarleys besides Samuel.
It's just Sam and his sister.
Tullies are all gone.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, the Blackfish is dead. So yeah. It's
We
just
only
like
have one of the.
Robin Aaron is alive.
Yeah, we only have. Wait, that's the Greyjoy, right? No, who's Greyjoy?
Is Yara?
Yara. We only have her as a Greyjoy.
She's great. I have high hopes for her doing stuff.
I don't. And the only reason is because if she was gonna fucking show up,
Sorry.
it would be in this last fucking episode. Like, where the fuck was she?
I thought it was more of just like once the show's done, like whatever she does after, it's like I hope she does some good stuff on the other side of the continent because it's like she's doing her own thing.
In the islands, man. In the islands.
Yeah, and she's gonna end the raping and ravaging. That's what she was promising.
Yeah.
Fuck Theon.
Yeah, I mean he's dead. So
yeah.
That I guess that was a key character who died, but whatever.
Not for me.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, so
episode 5. Fucking.
I've been pretty negative. I will give a big positive right now. I was very satisfied with Clegane Bowl. Very satisfied. I thought it was gorgeous imagery. I thought the fight was very.
You were satisfied with the Clegane Bowl?
Yeah, I thought it was cool, and like we finally got to see what the mountain's disfigured Frankenstein body was, which was cool. The Hound was letting out all of his anger, and you could see it, and it was. He could not beat him because he was a zombie. He stabbed him in the brain, and he was still moving. But even we got to see that there was still the mountain in there because he killed his master to go fight his brother, and then
went out
the mountain
like a fucking bitch, dude. Jesus Christ.
He died.
No.
He killed his brother.
I'm talking about his master.
What Qyburn. He just threw him into a rock.
Fucking.
It was obey your queen. Fuck you. And then like the Hound died, like what he was telling with Arya in the scene before. It's like, this is what, look at me. This is what living for revenge is. Mm-hmm. I know I'm going to my death.
Yeah.
This is all I have. And he, I'm not going to say one because they both died, but he satisfied his goal and died in a fire, which is his biggest fear. He fought through that to meet his only goal. So I was happy with that because it was like fitting. It made story sense, and I was really happy with that.
After hearing about like the symbolism of him dying in the fire, or using the fire essentially to like kill him and his brother, I was like, okay, I'm that much more satisfied. I liked the Clegane Bowl up until they jumped out the castle because I was like, oh man, I wanted to see him actually kill his brother and then just like dying by a crushed fucking castle.
I mean, what else did he have? He was getting his eyes gouged out.
That's just a fetish of the mountains, evidently.
It is true. But it's like, what else could he do? He stabbed him in the stomach. He stabbed him in the brain. He was hacking at his arms. Like, gravity. That's all he has left. Gravity and fire. How do you feel about Mad Danny?
I think... Here's the thing. I don't like it. But I think it's fitting to, like, the familial prophecy, essentially. She is an inbred child. Like, that is period. Like, there are no ifs, ands, or buts. She is a child of inbred. Yeah. That is just going to go... Too. Yeah, that's the Targaryen way. That, like, she's just going to be as mad as her father. And I think, like, rightfully so. Like, they just... They're I mean, inbred. I don't know what else to say.
Wouldn't we have seen
Mind you, real quick, Mad, the madness also came from that inbred. Like that. Let's get that straight. Like that is why they were mad. Their bodies just like it's an inbred child of like first sisters and brothers. Like
and for generations.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for generations. Yeah. So like there are generations of this like inbred. So.
But I mean, shouldn't we have seen madness in her before?
Not necessarily.
Like, you think she would go through all of the horror she'd gone through, because she'd been fucked up.
Yeah.
She had to deal with so much shit. But it's just, this is when she loses it?
Okay, I'm gonna throw you right here.
Okay.
So she's lost everything. And she finally had some wins in freeing the slaves. She'd been riding on that high for a very long time. She had a really good friend and like sidekick in Melisande. And finally like came over, like felt somewhat in love with like Jon Snow, and like had this great partnership with him, had a good right hand, like realistically a pretty good like crew around her. She had like Tyrion, Jorah, Grey Worm, Melisande, Jon Snow. Like she had a good squad, and then yeah, again, it's Thorin. Thor had his mother, brother, father died, and he's like trying to finally get these wins in. He's getting his hammer, and then everybody dies, and he's like lost his shit after there's nothing else he can do. Same thing over here. She had a whole bunch of losses lined up. Her husband force fucked her, and then it was kind of weird, but she ended up having some kind of empathy and love for him. Then he died, but then she
and
just
her
started,
baby.
and her baby. But she started racking up some of these wins, like really small wins, and then it got bigger and bigger and bigger. And then again, she created a really good, solid, damn, I can envision this person as a queen kind of caliber squad around her. And then within the last week, we just see all of that shit collapse. And so that's why I'm like, for me it makes sense. Person's on this bad streak, has a huge good exponential few wins, and then all of it within a week, and even maybe less, couple days, it's all just torn apart. And so it brings her back down to reality, and seeing her best friend in person, who was this epitome of purity and innocence, fucking beheaded because of literally no reason, just this hatred that this person has. Seeing that, and the final hearing, instead of killing that person and getting your full revenge on that person, they just want to throw in the towel and be like, oh no, spare my life, please. I think it was just a switch that flipped.
But all of that, and Dany is now deciding, I want to burn children. I want to burn innocent civilians. I want to kill all these people. Because it would be one thing, if it's fuck it, I'm going to go burn down the castle. I'm going to fuck everybody in that building up, but I'm going to get Cersei. It's going to collapse. It's going to kill plenty of people. Understandable. But Dany is going through every street and alleyway, burning every fucking piece of earth she can see, killing every poor innocent civilian who's just I was born here, I have no money to leave, and now I'm getting burned by dragonfire. She's killed everybody
Again.
And I that's how your argument is how I was justifying it a bit too, where it's she lost her only confidant and best friend in Missandei. She lost one of the people who truly loved her, and was her close advisor in Jorah. She's lost. She just lost her one of her last children in Rhaegal.
Yeah.
She felt betrayed by Jon for not listening to her, and betrayed by Varys for plotting we don't know what against her. So
he was trying to poison her.
That's probably a good theory, but he was also passing messages and writing letters to who knows who. So I 100% agree. This is not good. It's not been any good things for Dany. She was coming to Westeros. She thought she had it all done. She even gave up on her plan to go fight with her love to save the world. Lost a baby doing it, and everybody in the North is busy praising Jon.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's crazy enough to ride a dragon. I've been doing it for a year, motherfucker. But no one giving me props. Yeah. I can understand her frustration. But I mean, like, Dany, she locked up her dragons when one kid died. Back in Meereen.
Yeah.
Like, she, like, it doesn't, like, I feel like if we had more episodes in this season, they could have shown the madness grow. I feel like they were trying to get us there, like, even in the previously on. Because they edited in her, like, being mad, seeing Missandei die. They added in all these little voices, like it was in her head about all this, like, oh, burning, and, oh, with the Targaryens, you flip a coin, and all this shit. And, like, making it, they were trying to add it into the previously on. Trying to get us to that point where we would believe it. Like, I'm not opposed to the theory, or to the story beat that she could do this. I just felt so...
innocent.
Not even just innocent. It just felt like it just happened to us. And just happened a little bit out of nowhere. That it just was, like, weird. So, I'm not fully sold on it. This is going to be like a 2-hour episode on
Sunday. It's like an hour and a half, hour 45.
So
it's a movie. Like, it really is. It's a movie.
And I'm thankful for it. I hope, I'm curious about what's going to happen. And who knows? Maybe there'll be some conversation justifying it. I don't know. But it just... This season's too short.
Yeah. I thought we were going to get 8 episodes. Like, at episode 2, I thought we were getting 8. I don't know why. And, yeah, I'm just... Here's the thing. For me, I'm using all of that to kind of, like, justify it in my mind that she's just had a flip that switched and she's just lost her fucking mind, and that's it. She just doesn't give a shit. She just saw, like, red, and it was just rage that just, like, went into her mind. She just broke. It just broke. Mm-hmm. And so I think, again, I think she was going into what's the fucking kingdom?
King's Landing?
King's Landing, yeah. I think she was going into King's Landing with the intentions and the understanding that these guys were not going to stop fighting. I'm going to go and I'm going to kill Cersei Lannister. But then when, again, they, like, threw in the white flag, I think it was just like, what? No, I wanted to kill you and destroy everything that you love. And I think it was just, I think it was just too much for her. So, I don't know. How do I feel about it? I kind of figured at one point it was going to happen. I didn't want it to. I really liked it.
It was one of those things where, like, they set it up too much in the episode. Where it's like, when the bells ring, that means they've surrendered and will stop fighting. And they say that, like, 4 times in, like, the first 20 minutes. Yeah. It's like last season when every episode somebody would say, the wall will never fall. It's been up for 1,000 years. It's like, okay, so the wall's definitely coming down.
Yeah.
So, like, they were setting it up real hard.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the directors or the writers of the show are really big on, like...
spoon-feeding us.
Yeah. Spoon-feeding on, what do you call it? Foreshadowing.
How do you feel about how Jaime and Cersei died? Are you satisfied with their ending?
Load of fucking shit. Though, somebody was like, oh, that prophecy of the little brother, fucking didn't happen.
There's so many prophecies that don't... The show
Well,
hates
so
prophecy.
what's the prophecy?
The show hates
so
prophecy.
real quick. The prophecy for the little brother loosely happened because theoretically she got, like, suffocated from, like, collapse and everything or whatever. I don't know. But if you see right before, like, everything collapses on them, he has his hands around her neck.
I don't think so.
Yeah, he's holding her, like, by the jaw or whatever, but, like, he's holding her head.
So what is that? So he's, like, snap her neck or something?
No, his hands fall, or were on her neck when they died. I don't know, man. Fuck you.
It's probably just a kink. I don't know.
Anyways.
Use your one good hand, brother.
Anyways.
Fist me with the other.
This episode's gonna end right
I just think, like...
Euron died like a badass, though. I think
What?
that fight was way better than it was supposed to happen.
I don't like this Euron. He's like a bad glam rock washed up fuck.
What?
He's so lame. He's like, ooh, let me put on my eyeliner and my all black outfit, and ooh, I'm a pirate.
So he is a pirate.
Like, it's I try my best to separate the books from the shows, and it's hard sometimes. And Euron's one of those times, because Euron is so cool and terrifying in the books. Like, he in the books has his brother and a pregnant woman that he impregnated strapped to the mast of his ship, the bow of his ship, the front, as he is sailing his whole army into the ocean because he's going to try to initiate a Cthulhu Lovecraftian spell to turn himself into an eldritch god.
What the fuck?
Yeah. And that's only a tenth of all the crazy shit he's doing. He is so cool. This guy, he's got a big belt buckle.
He is cool.
And wants to fuck the queen. That's his character thing is, I've got a little beard and I want to fuck the queen. And I'm going to talk to her brother lover about how I'm fucking his sister. You have all this that you could have been doing, and it's this is what we have. This is it.
Yeah.
The fight was it was a gritty fight between him and Jaime because he was fucked up from the dragon blowing up his ship and him swimming to shore, so he was gassed, and Jaime is not nearly as good a fighter as he used to be, so it was two haggard guys going after each other, so that was a fun visceral thing. But I don't know. I've never cared for this Euron. I feel like I'm so fucking negative in this, and I don't want to be this negative because Game of Thrones is great, but it's just not as. This season is not what it should have been for me.
I don't know what to expect from next episode, but I think Jon Snow's gonna be the Here's what I want, kind of. One of those Ned Stark cut off your head kind of plot twists in the last episode, and I do not want a time jump. I do not want...
I've had that same worry. Where it's all this happens and it's 5 years later. No.
I do not want a time jump. You're not the Russo brothers. You can't time jump properly.
I feel like if they do it, it'll be like the Harry Potter movies where it ends and then it cuts to 8 years later and they're all just in fat makeup.
I don't give a shit.
And it's well, no one wants to see this.
I don't want that.
Garbage.
Yeah, I don't give a shit about that. You're not Digimon. You can't fucking do that.
Oh, fuck. Quality programming.
I love Digimon.
Digimon. That's a good show.
Okay, I thought you were going to be smart ass, but yeah,
Digimon
was
better
the
show than
fucking
Pokemon.
shit. Oh yeah, 100%.
Pokemon's a better game.
That is true.
Digimon, great show.
Oh yeah.
Until season 3 when you have to start swiping cards.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
It's
I'm
just
not
selling shit.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I'm good without it.
So speaking of Digimon, Danny. She's riding her Agumon.
God damn it. Yeah, I don't know, man.
So who's gonna kill Danny? Do you think it's gonna be Arya? Because Arya is definitely on a fucking warpath to kill Danny.
And she got the symbolic horse of death.
I mean, that's another thing where it's what's more cliche than a white horse to lead me to where I must go.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of those things where it's you think it's a placeholder where it's yeah, we're riding in a white horse, but we'll come back and write the real thing later, and then they just print it and it's fuck. Well, now we gotta shoot it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Also, was kind of weird that there was a horse that just so happened to be white standing there, because there was also the white horse that died in the first, like, scene of the battle with the Golden Army. Also, Golden Army fucking pointless.
That's another thing. The Golden Company is so cool. And it's just like, no, I'm a sassy Harry Strickland with my comb-over haircut. Yeah. And they tried to, like, show parallels with him versus Jon in the Battle of the Bastards, where it's, like, the shot where it's, like, behind his head and, like, the enemy horde is over there, and it's supposed to be, like, a parallel between that, but then he just, like, goes out like a bitch. Mm-hmm. And it was so confusing. It's so weird.
Dies.
Yeah, it just dies like a little baby. I feel like Dany's definitely gonna die. I feel like Jon's gonna die too. My theory is Tyrion, because they talk a lot about reluctant leaders being the best leaders. And Tyrion is a person who never thought of himself as ever having a chance to be a leader, even though he has all the capabilities. My problem with that theory is they've made him an idiot. Yeah. In like 3 or 4 seasons, they've just been like, all right, Tyrion, if your IQ was like a 120, you're like a solid 70 now.
That's why I think it's going to be Snow, because reluctant leaders, he's a reluctant leader. He doesn't want the throne. He doesn't want any of that. I think it's going to be him. But I also agree. It's so fucking obvious that there's like no way it can be him.
Yeah. He's too, like...
Either that or there's super hardcore foreshadowing, just like we've been getting with everything else. Like, you're the true ruler as long as, like, because you're the firstborn Targaryen, or you're the last, like, male-born Targaryen. And he's like, but I don't want it, I don't want it. And then it's going to be like, it's just all foreshadowing. The wall's going to fall. The wall's never falling. The wall's never falling. Oh, the wall fucking falls.
I feel like Varys has sent out all those letters about the true lead, he's like the true heir. Yeah. And like at the last minute, other houses are going to show up, and like it'll be a standoff between Jon and all these rando people, and Dany and what's left of her Unsullied, and Dothrakis. Mm-hmm. And it's gonna be like, what? Another what the fuck is happening thing? And then Arya jumps out of nowhere and stabs her.
Here's one theory that I kind of came up with, and it's kind of like straight out of the ass, and it just, I don't know. But we kind of almost got a nod to it in the Battle of Winterfell. And it was that because he's a Targaryen, he's probably fireproof. And
he's half Targaryen.
It doesn't matter. It's still in the bloodline, evidently. But...
And he is resurrected by fire.
Yeah.
But...
So, well, hold on.
Yeah,
so
finish your theory.
So, I feel like we were going to get a glimpse of his fireproof when he stood up and the ice dragon was going to blow fire at him. But we didn't get it. Mm-hmm. And so I think, and because the dragons listen and obey to Targaryens, I think what we may be like prepared to see is like a little like small tussle kind of bout with them two on the dragon or on Drogon or something while they're flying in, and something happened where, like, he gets blown with fire, doesn't die, comes out, and says, like, the Dracarys, and she gets eaten by it. Or gets, like, betrayed by it. I feel like Drogon is gonna, like...
That'd be so weird.
Hey, but it would kind of make sense, because the dragons knew he was a Targaryen because he was, like, allowed to fly on.
There's a difference between being, like, I'm cool with you, and I'm gonna eat my mom.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?